If you've been following my channel for a while, in this video last year, you may have heard me talk about being grounded for a lot of the winter. Sometimes because of IFR or marginal weather, but often because it got so cold overnight that I didn't want to start the engine with it being so cold. And so it was for 2022, 23, and 24 that I basically sat out the winter. And this year is starting out the same, 30s and 20s overnight. But I don't plan to sit this out this year. Look at this. On a pleasant spring or fall day, I might have a day when the outside air temperature is 75 degrees. Before starting the engine, I might expect my oil temperature to also read in the 70s. Now, if I can get a reading like that in the wintertime, then I can fly. Now, my mechanic offered to loan me his preheater. Shown here, it plugs in and you hang it from the propeller spinner. Hot air comes out of two round ducts that you direct into the engine bay through the openings in the cowling. Now that might work great for a Cessna 182 or a Piper or whatever, but there is no way those 6-inch ducts will fit inside my tiny openings. I can't even fit my hand in there. But God has given us the internet. I came across this small preheater that might work. It measures just over 2 inches square, and maybe it'll fit in there. Long story short, it doesn't. However, there's a workaround. I ordered it, and here is the little booger. It is the Twin Hornet 22. Here it is with the universal measuring tool. It comes with a long cord to plug in, and the socket lights up to show that there's power. Once again, my cowl openings are too small, and even this thing won't fit in. But I still have the oil inspection door. Let's look in there. This is near the back side of the engine. The light gray assembly is the engine mount. The arrow points to the firewall. The engine, piston, cylinders, and gearbox are up here at this end, and the oil reservoir is right here. Let's see if this thing will fit inside. Yeah, it's a tight fit, but it's in there. Here's the business end where the hot air comes out. I'm going to want that to point forward toward the engine. A little maneuvering gets it pointing forwards. Now it's time to cover the whole thing with a blanket. I tuck the blanket into the cowl openings to seal it up. So here's the plan. All winter long, I'm going to leave this plugged in. It's thermostatically controlled to keep the engine bay at 65 to 70 degrees. The first cold weather day, I'm going to come out to the airport and see if the heater has worked. Several days later, it dropped below freezing. Time to see how the plane is doing in its unheated hangar. Here at midday, it's still only 38 degrees. The wing is really cold to the touch. The blanket, though, is nice and warm. Under the blanket, the cowling is warm, more at the front than the rear. The unit is running this whole time. Now comes the acid test. Is the engine warm and safe to start? It's interesting that the outside air temperature gauge shows 50 degrees. Yeah, maybe the hangar offers more protection than I realized. The question, though, is what temps does the oil show? 72 degrees on a day that was in the 20s earlier? I would call that a success. Several days later, it got below freezing again overnight, so back to the airport I go. The outside air temp shows 47 degrees, pretty much the same as the weather app says. If the oil is warm, I'm going to assume the whole engine block is warm. So let's see. Oil is at 70 degrees. I would not hesitate to start her up. I put the plane back to bed, and on the next VFR day, I'm going to crank it up and fly the pattern. This is the preheater solution that I think will work for me. You can get this at Sporty's. I got mine direct from the manufacturer, so they get the retail price instead of the wholesale price they'd get by selling it through Sporty's. By the way, this is not an ad for them. I'm just sharing what I did. Now, cold weather presents one less thing for me to worry about. Stay tuned to this channel for more episodes coming up. We'll see you then. So long.